Hello everyone, my name is Maureen Le Roux and I'm from Venture Church in Johannesburg, South Africa. And today I'm wanting to encourage you from a scripture found in Galatians chapter 6. I want to read the scripture from verse 1. It says, "Brothers and also sisters, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted." And then this scripture says something very interesting. It says, "Bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. But let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not in his neighbor. For each will have to bear his own load." So these verses seem to be quite confusing. One minute it says that we are to bear one another's burdens. The next minute it says each one is to bear its own load, or in some scriptures it says bear each other's own burden. What is it actually saying? Well, when you look at bear one another's burdens, that burden is a different Greek word to the load. We are then told that we've got to bear our own load. It's two different Greek words. And the first one, bear one another's burdens, that word that is used is equivalent to a weight, almost like when you go on a 5-day hiking and you've got to carry your backpack of 5 kgs or a specific amount of weight on your back in order to fulfill your 5-day of hiking. So it is something that is temporary. It's not something that you're carrying every single day. It is something just for that occasion that you have to now carry this weight. And scripture is saying that we are to help each other carry those weights. And when we are doing that, we are fulfilling the law of Christ. Now, what is the law of Christ? The law of Christ, when we look in John 13:34 to 35, Jesus actually said to his disciples, he said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. And you also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you have love one for another." So here we see that when things happen to us that are unusual, that is not our run-of-the-day events, and for example, our car breaks down, we don't have a car. A mother might land up in hospital and there's no one to feed her children and her husband at home or look after the family at home. Or when a husband loses his job. Or when something happens that is out of the ordinary event of your day-to-day events, where it's a temporary thing that you are having to deal with, a temporary problem or circumstance or weight that you are having to carry. Scripture tells us clearly that we are to help one another with those weights. But then later on, when it talks about each of us having to bear our own load, that word is talking about your responsibility or your task that you have, because that Greek word means a task or a service. So that load is our everyday responsibilities we carry. Whether we are a wife, we have responsibilities. A mother, we have responsibilities. Out there in the workplace and the different positions that we are carrying, we have responsibilities. Those are our normal day-to-day workload. We have to bear that ourselves. The mistake we often make is that we swap it around. We expect everyone to help carry our load, our responsibilities. Now, everyone must help us be a wife, be a mother, carry all these things that we're having to do. And we don't tell anyone about our burdens, the weights that we are carrying that are just suddenly out the blue, that are temporary things that are not part of our day-to-day circumstances. We hide those away. And we think we can carry those on our own. But ladies, I want to encourage you today. If you are carrying a weight, if you have something that is something that is temporary in your life, you may be not feeling well, you may be sick, you may have lost your job, you may have experienced trauma or pain, or you're worried or you're anxious, that these are temporary weights that we are carrying that is not part of our day-to-day load. Don't think that you can carry it on your own. Reach out to someone and let someone pray with you. Let somebody help you. That's where the body of Christ comes together, and we may lend a car if someone has their car's broken down. We may contribute with groceries if there's no food in the home. We can walk alongside somebody if they're experiencing pain and heartache and trauma in their life. Reach out, because scripture tells us clearly that this is how we fulfill the law of Christ, when we are there for one another to help each other other carry our weight. But our load, our day-to-day responsibilities that we have to do, we draw from strength from God to walk that and to achieve that. So ladies, I hope this has encouraged you. Bless you.